أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. So we're talking about how the Quran is miraculous in many facets. إن هذا القرآن يهدي التي هي أقوم. Truly this Quran guides to that which is better, that which is more upright. It is able to guide people to the best ways of living. So the Quran is defining itself as the best model for defining conduct and modeling people and nurturing them to have that conduct. Tonight we're going to talk about the subject of race. It's very easy to just take concepts for granted and not to compare how the world looks compared to the teachings of Islam. I want to introduce you to Sir Alexander Gibb. Alexander Gibb was a professor at Harvard University, and he was the director of the Center for Middle East Studies in the year 1957. He wrote a book called Whither Islam in 1932. On page 39 he says, Islam has a great service to render to the cause of humanity. It stands, after all, nearer to the real East than Europe does, and it possesses a magnificent tradition of interracial understanding and cooperation. No other society has such a record of success in uniting in an equal of status and opportunity and endeavors for so many different ethnicities among humanity. Islam still has the power to reconcile apparently irreconcilable elements of race and tradition. If ever the opposition of the great societies of the East and the West is to be replaced with cooperation, the mediation of Islam is an indispensable condition. This is a British professor who mastered the Arabic language, spent many years in the Middle East, and then became professor of Islamic studies in various institutions. And his idea was, out of all of planet Earth, this race and caste mentality, the one thing that can solve it is Islam. And Islam comes from the Quran. A.J. Toynbee, he was elected a fellow of the British Academy of Humanities and Social Sciences in 1937. He was elected to the International Society of Philosophy in 1941 and an international honorary member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He wrote a book called Civilization on Trial, in which he defends the beauty of Islam against its opponents. He's a non-Muslim. He's a secular guy. He has no dog in the fight, as they say. He's not Christian. He's not Muslim. He's on the outside as a secular studying, telling what he sees. He says, the extinction of the race consciousness between Muslims is one of the outstanding achievements of Islam, and in the contemporary world there is, as it happens, a crying need for the propagation of this Islamic virtue. And I'll give you the last quote here is from R.L. Mellema from Holland. Actually, he was an anthropologist and a writer, but through his study of Islam, he converted to Islam. And he said, the doctrine of brotherhood in Islam extends to all human beings, no matter what color, race, or creed. Islam is the only religion which has been able to realize this doctrine in practice. He's telling you with his own mouth, as an anthropologist who studied world civilizations and the human condition. He's saying Islam, coming from the Quran, is the only thing on earth that has the ability to solve the race conflict problem. Meaning, the Quran is the only entity that has that ability, which is what a miracle is defined by. Only one person can do it, and it cannot be reproduced by others. That's the definition of a miracle. It starts in Surah Al-Isra, where God says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. In the royal we, with emphasis, لَقَدْ, for sure, without doubt, we have honored the human being, the children of Adam. So the idea that we have, our faith tradition, what our actual beliefs are, is each and every human being is born with a sense of respect and dignity, and they are all born with a clean, equal slate. Those hearts that incline to faith, those sincere words and actions that reflect faith, which God is the judge of that, will be better than others. But nobody else has that business, which is why Allah said in Surah Al-Najm, فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Don't claim for yourself, I'm special and I know so much and I'm the one. Let Allah, let God judge that matter. So we have throughout the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas, O humanity, pay attention humanity. We have Ya ayyuhal insan, O human being. We have this notion of humanity as a fundamental relationship with Allah in the Quran. And we recited in Salat al-Isha, who remembers? Hujurat. وَجَعَلْنَا Ya ayyuhan nas, O humanity, we have created you all from male and female. And then we've made you into many different tribes and nations for the purpose that you could come to get to know one another. Meaning what? Your differences, your ethnicities, its purpose is that you will learn things from people with different backgrounds and experiences all over the earth. And so this is the coming together of humanity in its differences, in its diversity. Islam is the original DEI manual. Okay? And so then he says, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Again, he emphasizes so nobody would begin to think, well, I'm better because I'm male and she's female, so she's under me. No, it doesn't work that way. Aisha and many others, way better than most of us men. Okay? And so maybe somebody thinks, well, I have white skin, so that means I must be better. Or I am wealthy and I have this PhD, or I come from this tribe, or whatever. None of that means anything. Inna akramakum indallah. The most honorable and noble among you are the most pious. And then what does he say after that? Inna Allah alimun khabir. And God is the one who knows and is aware of who is pious and who is not. So don't claim it for yourself again. And then it all goes back to the beautiful signs in creation. In Surah Ar-Rum, in chapter 30, verse 22. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. In Arabic, this is a am. And then after it will be a khas. And the point, meaning there's a generality from the signs of God, things that will help you know about God, things that will help you draw nearer to God in His signs and creation is the whole creation of the heavens and the earth. خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So he brings the most general thing possible, and now he's going to bring you a specific point to focus on that you as human beings will take a huge lesson from. وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. And the differences in your languages and in your skin colors. Those are Allah's signs. Those are the beauty of Allah in creation. All languages, all colors of skin, all cultures, all ethnicities are equally the beauty of Allah's creation. Right? And so that idea, then he says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالِمِينَ. And that is a sign for those who know. Meaning those who pay attention to the beauty. If you section yourself off, and so there are many teachings from the Prophet that expound vastly on these ayat. But the Prophet ﷺ said, and I want to reiterate this for the millionth time, and we can never end it until we see we fix it. Why would you bring this ways of ignorance? دَعُوهَا فَإِنَّهَا مُنْتِنَةٌ. This tribalism, this nationalism, this racism, leave it. It's putrefying. Stay away from it. This idea that my ethnicity or my nationalistic group, my state, right, my group is somehow special and I only stay among my group. These ayahs and these hadith that we're talking about are telling you don't do that. That will limit you. It will make you narrow-minded. It will make you closed-minded. You will not have a good understanding of your role as a human being amongst the humanity of which we are all a family. There is only one race in the Quran. And what is that race? The human race. The notion of races, meaning separate, distinct types of humans from biological things, is nonsense. It was created for capitalistic purposes of controlling peoples and taking their resources and making wealth. There are different ethnicities, there are different skin tones, cultures, but there's one humanity. And everybody's equally a human being on this planet, right? So we ask Allah to enrich us in the Quran, that we may carry this message and not carry the message of our colonizers who tried to make us like them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور